the trick of technology. Come on. The trick of technology.
In this tutorial, we're going to go through how to extract an image off a sketch, getting it ready to render in the Photoshop environment. Before we get started, as with all the videos, I just want to go and make sure we're all looking the same. So if we go to Window and Workspace, make sure we're on Essentials and also Reset Essentials. So hopefully your workspace now looks exactly the same as mine. I want to make the point that when you're working with an illustration to do rendering, this example here is a pencil sketch that's been scanned directly into a computer, and I want to show you the difference between the two. When we scan this as a grayscale picture or in black and white, you can see on this page here that we don't have any true blacks. What I would highly recommend, and what you should have done if you're doing this course with me, is to go through and trace it out with a black outline. You can see the difference between the two when we zoom in. One has a very defined line, and I would highly recommend that you start at this point here. The first thing we're going to do, if we do looking at a pixel level, the first thing we're going to do to extract the black lines off the page is we need to sort of note here that on a pixel level, there's really very few true blacks on this page and very few true whites. You can see they're very light grey colour. So the first thing we're going to do is try and change that a little. So we're going to go to Image, Adjustments, and Levels. Click on that. This chart here represents all the blacks and whites on the page. Now at the moment, this part of the chart represents true black, this part of the graph represents true white. And if you have a look, there's nothing on this chart that is pure white and very little to nothing on this chart that's pure black. This part of the chart here represents what should be the white of the page, and you'll see here when I adjust this image, we can actually turn that background to pure white. You can see all those light greys disappearing. And as with these dark greys in these areas here, if we watch this, so these are the dark greys that aren't pure black on this part of the chart, but if we move the slider across and we say that everything that is a dark grey, we want to be from this point backwards now to be pure black. And you can see there, when I press OK and just go back in history, the difference between that and once we've adjusted the level. So already we're working with a much better picture. If I show you on this picture here, Image, working with the pencil sketch, Image, Adjustments and Levels, you can see there's very few pure blacks on the page to start with, and they kind of blend into the mid greys, and you can see it's very hard to try and get the page to work working from a pencil sketch. Also, I'd highly recommend, if you're working with a pencil sketch, that you trace over the top so you don't end up with any rogue pencil marks from your sketch. So try and separate the black out completely. All right, so now we've got that, we actually want to extract the blacks off this page here. I'll just go into a pixel level so we can see this happen. You can see here it's not perfect. There's some issues here on the black lines, but we're going to go to Select by Color Range, and we're going to use the tool to grab an area that we believe is true black, and then we're going to change the fuzziness to 200. So that's basically saying grab everything that's pretty close to pure black on the page, and when we do that, you can see there pretty well we've grabbed most of it. There's a few little pixels in here, and there's a couple of pixels here that we haven't grabbed. There's a very quick fix for that. If we go to Select and modify the selection that we've got and expand that selection, what we're asking it to do here is for this part of the marquee to expand in this direction and this marquee to expand in this direction by 1 pixel. So you'll see when we do this, that includes these pixels that we were trying to include, but it also makes the line a bit wider. Now that's a good way if we've got a thin line that we want to make thicker. We could actually go to Select, Modify, and expand by, I don't know, 3 pixels. And you can see there we can actually make a much thicker line, but you can see you'll also lose some detail when we do that. So I'm going to go select modify and contract by 3 again, just to get rid of what we did. All right, so now we've lost a bit of detail here. Let's go select modify, contract by that last 1 pixel. So now that we've included those smaller things, we can see there we've got pretty much everything that we need. Now if we're really being fussy, so at the moment we've grabbed the black, I'm just going to show you this. I'm going to just create a new layer down in the bottom corner here. Oops, created 2 layers. And then we're going to use the paint bucket tool. Now that's hidden under the gradient tool sometimes, so grab the paint bucket tool and fill it with black. Now you see we've lost a little bit of the detail there. If I turn that off, I'll just show you there. You can see we've got this beautiful, nice, solid black line sitting on a clear screen now on layer 1, which is great, but we've lost a little bit of detail. If you really wanted to be fussy, we could actually zoom in and use the marquee tool here. Doesn't matter which one of these, but we'll go the polygon lasso tool, and I'm going to take, so it's on here. If I hover over that, that says subtract from selection. I might actually want to go in and I'll just turn that. Whoops. Let's try that again. I'll just turn that layer back on. So you can see here we've lost that detail when we expand it. So I'm just going to subtract if we really wanted to be fussy. You could see that I could go around and I could fix that up. I could put some of these things back into the selection if I really wanted to by just clicking around the outside to get rid of that. Or I could add to the selection by, oops. There we go. So I could go around and clean up if I really wanted to. I'm not really worried for that. Either way, I'll just create another layer there and I'll fill that with black. So now I'll just get rid of that other one we did. Okay, so looking at this now, we still have part of the screen selected. I'm going to get rid of that selection by going select and deselect there, or Command D as a shortcut. You can see now we've got black lines floating on a clear screen. So we can actually see that a little better. I'm going to drag a new layer down. So let's label this one black lines. And let's label this one white paper. There we go. Now, we've got nothing selected, so I'm going to fill that. I'm going to select pure white, which here is 0, 0, 0, 0. And then use the paint bucket tool, now that I've deselected the page, to fill that. So now you can see I've got black lines sitting on top of white paper. Perfect. Now, we're going to use this later on in the tutorial to select areas of the page. So we don't accidentally colour in on the black line layer. I'm actually going to select black line layer and lock it. I'm also going to select the white paper layer and lock it. And then lastly, I'm going to create the first of what could be many layers. I could do a fill colour layer, some other layers. But I'm just going to double click that now and make that my colouring layer. And so now we're all set up to colour in on that layer. I'll just grab a colour of any colour at the moment. So you can see the good thing there is we're actually colouring underneath the black line layer now. And we can also erase if we wanted to. Clean that up and do whatever we like. And you can see there the black lines now sitting on top of the colour layer. All perfect. If we've made a mistake on the colour layer, we can very simply just delete that layer and create a new colour layer. So there we have it, all set up, ready to start drawing.
You know what you came to do. Put 'em up, come on, put 'em up, come on. Technology.